everyone, welcome back to another video. So excited to get started with you today. Today we're going to be talking about how I use my Erin Condren notebook. So if you're new here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future content. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you here. So, of course, this information is based on my Erin Condren notebook, but this would be great for any notebook that you may or may not have. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so if anything I'm using or showing you today does interest you, there is a link in the description if you want to check out any of the products to Erin Condren's website directly. These were newly released, so it's something that's brand new that you're going to see there, and we're going to talk about them a little bit today. All right, so I have 4 colors. They're a different, they're blended between the lined and the dot paper, line, whatever dot, I want to say dot grid, but I don't feel like that's totally right. But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I use them, but how you can use them and ways to use them, along with saying that I have been enjoying these markers, and they're dual tip, so I kind of consider them more as like pens pretty much, but I would say that either way you use them, depending on which side you use, the thin or the thick, they work, but they really work really great in this. And because these paperweights are so good, there's no bleeding through to the other side, which I feel like is super important when you are, when you are a snob like me and like to make sure that your pen doesn't shine through. So, yes, you heard it here first, folks. Megan's a snob. She doesn't like pens bleeding through. But of course you have great colors to start with, and I do love colors because I just feel like I'm a colorful person at heart. I'm not a muted person in any fashion. Like, of course, walls and stuff, but I just like colors. So I'm also a big fan of journaling, and I feel like journaling is a great way to kind of get your thoughts on paper that are clouding your brain. So what I will also like to say is that I journal. I don't read my page. I mean, some of you might, but I don't read my pages. I don't go back to them as reference. I don't journal my whole day. I just kind of write down whatever comes to mind that I'm thinking about that's in my brain that should not be in my brain because it's weighing down the rest of my day. And so in the morning when I get up, I have not completed my other journal yet, so that's why I haven't started this one, but this one will be my new journal. And when I get up, the first thing I do is grab it and just really spend some time journaling in it. So to give you an idea, this one's a little bit thicker, but this is a super thick paperweight, and it is like, it's something I never knew how important it was to me till you get a thick paperweight paper and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. So it's great to flip. It's also great to write in because I feel like when you have a thicker paperweight, it doesn't like roll around as much when you're writing, so it stays more, it just stays better as you're writing to be easy to write on. What I love about it though is because you do have like little individual colors at the top, as you can see. You can theme it for different impact and goals. So I color code my goals on and I'm going to bring it over. This is from a different company called Cultivate What Matters, but let me find this section that it's at. No. Try not to bore you with nonsense that doesn't apply. Oh, well, you know what? I can be smart. Okay, well, where to go? All right, so I color code my goals. Each goal has its own color, and that way when I'm doing certain tasks, I know what it's working towards. And a great way for this journal is actually to journal information on that goal based on the colors at the top. So I love this because it's an easy, quick way to identify like what it is that you're working towards and why you journaled in that particular location. So for those of you who are like, oh my gosh, those colors are out of place, like I couldn't go at a line like that, at a sequence like that, I do still feel like it's a great way just to kind of keep track of like how you're feeling towards those goals and really identifying strengths and weaknesses within them. So just kind of keeping a nice little journal about that. I also highly recommend dating these because it's really great when you have a place to start. So with planners, they're dated. You kind of have an idea of when you were using them. But for journals, they're really, really not. And so you just want to make sure to take some time to like write when you started writing it, especially if you're using it as a journal itself. So another great way to use one of these notebooks is for your dot grid preferences, is actually to lay out some goal paths. So if you do not have a goal system, like I use the Cultivate What Matters. This is a very in-depth goal setting guide, but not for everybody. So for those of you who want something a little bit simpler, I always recommend something like a goal be in I don't like the idea of having disc-bound systems or anything for goals. I like having it in a system that keeps it in one place that you can't alter or mimic. Like you can't adjust it. You cannot change the way it is laid out. So great way to write goals and do goals. And what I love to do with the dot grid is, because I'm not an artist, for those of you who are, you probably could do a better job, but it's really just put some stickers down and lay out the goals from action steps down. So another really great way to do it. And this would be perfect to set up as a bullet journal because it has kind of the same pages, but it's super thick. I mean, it is like super, super thick. Of course, you cannot have enough notebooks, so I don't feel like there's a wrong way to use any of them, especially with all the colors that they have. But if you are setting it up as a bullet journal, I would get the stickers that go with, like Happy Planner has, they're here. Has these great bullet journal stickers that you can just really journal up and create your schedule within this as your main, like you could make this into a planner if you want and just use it as that bullet journal. They also came out with, I'm like moving a bunch of stuff around. So if you like see random things flying about, it's just because Megan's moving a bunch of stuff around. They also came out with these great bullet journal, these are again Happy Planner, these great bullet journal like dashboards. What I will say is they're very flimsy, so if you're like me and you already don't have a steady hand, oh look, I could have used those today when I was doing something different. Anyways, but if you don't have a steady hand, like these may or may not be the best things for you to use, but it is a great way to fill that spot, especially if you want to color code your goals. So in using stuff like that, I always like to have lots of pen colors around because when you are an artist and you can write, again, I'm not, but I pretend to be, when you can write out your goals and kind of identify a little bit more about them, it's really great to see how you're going to, like by using these check marks or whatever. Again, this is going back to the goal setting, but I feel like it's a great way to color code and keep things in order. And you just assign a pen color to your goal if you have multiple goals. Another great way that I recommend using one of these beautiful notebooks, and I'm just like so in love with the paperweight. I can't even say how much, but is if you are doing any type, if you would say like any type of fitness or any type of goal where you want to track your eating and food without necessarily having like a full planner for it, like maybe just tracking day by day, a food diary. Okay, and I feel like this is so true for those who maybe have like dietary issues, like gluten intolerance and stuff like that. But if you have a food diary, it really helps to understand like what you're eating throughout the day and how that affects your body. So if you find yourself more tired or maybe not, maybe you're more energized, like how is that really affecting your body? A food diary is going to give you that insight that you didn't ordinarily have on your own. So I highly recommend keeping a food diary on hand. These are great for it. You would just start the date and you can write the date at the top hand corner and just really go from there and keep track. And each day, just keep track. Again, with pregnancy, it's another great way to track maybe symptoms and moods. Sometimes it's really helpful when you're pregnant to have something to look back on. And it's kind of nice too, because if you have multiple children later on in life, you're like, I was so sick with this baby, and then you can look back. I don't know. I just like the idea. And I'm such a bad memory planner that I feel like if I track stuff, that is more memory keeping to me than actually like going down and remembering things and like doing that. It just feels so much different. But I always like to have this stuff completely separate in a book that's hardbound, that is very good quality, that you can save and look at later, because I feel like it's more important than just having a thin piece of paper that could happen with. So these are super nice, super good quality. I cannot recommend these enough. I think they're great, reasonably priced as well. But if you have information on them, make sure to click the link in the description and it will take you to them. There's other colors. These are not it by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm also a big fan of their markers. So if you don't have them already, you should pick some up. Together they make the perfect combination. So if you have any questions on these, please let me know in the comments. I would love to answer them for you. But yeah, I think these are great. I'm so excited to use them. And those are just a few of the ways that I'm going to be using them. I'm not pregnant, but I'm going to save one for when that occurs. So, all right, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time.